I teach teens and adults. Today I'm going to talk about new driver advice. Let's go ahead and get it. When you learn how to drive, and everyone's a little bit different. Some of you are at that 15 to 20 years old. You're still at home, you're working, or you're a junior, sophomore in high school, or maybe you're a little bit older. You're 18 to 21 years old. You're out of the house. You're trying to work. You maybe do an Uber, you do a Lyft. There are different opportunities for people to learn how to drive. I just looked at a message on my social media. They said, well, if you are in a big city, there's pretty much a solid transportation system. But in smaller cities, you're going to need a car to travel from your home, maybe in a rural area, into the city. Okay? Maybe like Prairie View, Texas, into Houston, Texas, that's an hour away. Maybe from Houston, Texas to Dallas, Texas. You got to be able to travel, and you have to learn how to drive. Let's talk about what some of the advice things I want to give you by you taking the time to be here. And first, thank you for taking the time to be here. A lot of beginners do a lot of traffic light driving at first. What does this mean? You don't see the person walking from right to left. You don't see the person backing out of the driveway. If you've taken the time to look at some of my content, and you have, I've seen the numbers, you had to develop that strategy. And you learn by doing. You learn by driving in your neighborhood, covering your brake. Kids naturally see cars as a monster. They see something moving, it's got a grill and lights, and they freeze. If you've ever been driving and a kid sees a car, they freeze. What I need you to do is stay to the middle or the left side of the road, because because they freeze and panic. And what I need you to do, kids don't understand the dangers of a car. They're playing basketball, trying to shoot. They're playing football. They'll run right out in front of you, and you're like, oh my God, I almost hit this kid. And then the whole neighborhood looks at you like, what are you doing? You got to be careful. You have to be a defensive driver. So when you're driving through neighborhoods, look down the neighborhood, just like I'm looking. Look to your left, 4 or 5, 6 houses. Are kids running out? Look to your right, 4 or 5 or 6 houses. Are kids running out? I do have a video somewhere. I'll try to link it where I talk about neighborhood dangers, and maybe I need to redo that video. So you have to see the big picture. Danger lurks everywhere. In your school parking lot. Teachers are getting out. Your principal's getting out. Your coach is getting out. Many of you are at home now. You're saying true, facts. Many of you are at home now saying, man, the school bus almost got hit by this crazy senior. Or that guy in his pickup truck ran the light. If you think about drivers, they're out there. They're trying to see the big picture. They're trying to be safe. The same thing with me. When I drive home, sometime I go live, I have the camera mounted, phone mounted, and cars are cutting us off. They're tailgating us. So see the lights first, see the big picture, and you'll learn to look far and near. You're searching, you're watching. There's a kid walking. Let me slow down. There's another kid. Let me stop, because people will come out at any given time. Next. Watch while others are continuing to learn. You need to be watching your mom. You need to be watching your dad. Well, my dad road rages. Well, what triggers him? Is it because he's late? Is it because he wants to drive really fast? You will learn who you are. You'll learn your essence. You're going to learn from me watching these driving videos. You're going to learn from your mom, how she parks. You can learn from your dad. He stays in the middle lane. You're going to learn from your cousin, right? I learned a lot from my cousin. We used to drive around quite a bit. I told you the story about the Volkswagen. I used to work at the YMCA. And a member said, hey, I got a Volkswagen. You want to use it? I'm like, yeah. I was all excited thinking about it. But when he gave me the keys, I realized that it's really important that you understand that why is this serious? I'm talking because I'm passionate about driving. And many of you don't drive. Many of you are walking. Many of you don't have a license. And a lot of people of color who live in the cities don't have a license. And that's another problem leading into voter registration. So I had a chance to go into the city and help people of color who are 18, 19, 20 who don't have a license. There was a program, and I can't tell you who sponsored this program, but we drove about 300 students who are trying to get their license. So I see the big picture, whereas a lot of you are like, bro, but those of you who are saying, bro, you're driving illegally and you're driving with no insurance and you're driving with no license. And then you ruin it for drivers like me and other drivers who follow the law. So I need you to understand why I'm doing this, and I'm going to keep on doing this. Next, continue to study right of way. A lot of beginners don't know right of way. They go up to a stop sign, they stop for a second, and they roll through. But a pedestrian was walking, or someone who has headphones on. Right of way rules, intersections are the most dangerous. You need to pause. You need to look left. You need to look right. You better check your mirror because someone might not be stopping and rear end you. And you might be that same person, Jordan, who rear ends me. Now I got to chase you down because you don't have insurance. And a lot of people don't have insurance because they can't afford to drive a car. They can't keep the gas in. They can't afford the insurance, and they can't afford the car payment, right? So it's super important that you understand this. All of you understand this. Driving is a privilege, not a right. I don't owe any of you anything. It's a process. Either you're going to go through a third-party driver's education program, real life, or you're going to wait till you're 18. Now you're 18. Mom and dad don't want to take you anywhere. You're rude. You're disrespectful. You don't want to listen. And then you're going to be 21. Now you don't have your license. Most of your friends have probably gone to college, right? So it's really important. Yeah, I understand that. And I've been to NYC. It's a huge city. And sometimes it doesn't benefit you to get your license. Other times you're supposed to be able to travel freely. So you have to look at your situation. In New York, parking is very expensive. I could have an opportunity in downtown Houston, downtown Detroit. Do I really want to take a job where I've got to travel an hour from home and then pay over $20 a day for parking? You think about that. And I'm paying $100 a week in gas. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm in a good situation right now. I'm like 35 minutes away from home, straight shot down the freeway, free parking. I'm good. But I'm sharing these experiences with you because you may say, hey, mom, dad, I got a job making $45,000. But honey, you're going to spend $100 a week in gas. You don't have a parking permit. You're going to park illegally and get your car towed. You think about that, right? And now you're the one who gets your mom or dad's car towed. Next, I talked about studying right of way, rules, and if you've ever been to a downtown Detroit, New York, Chicago, Houston, Texas, which I've been, people don't yield. You're going to have pedestrians walking right in front of you. If you don't know how to parallel park, you're going to lose your parking spot and you're going to drive around the block 6 times. I've done that too. And you will be scared when you go to a downtown area. The NFL draft is coming to Detroit. They have Detroit shut down. I guarantee any of you who are listening, I would love to take you to the downtown Detroit area. You will be overwhelmed. Guarantee it. Because this is going to be the hottest spot across the world, the NFL draft, or in Chicago, or in Houston, Texas, or in California. So the concentration of people are so great in this area, it's overwhelming. Okay? Next, use the big 5 strategies when you drive. You got to have a strategy. You got to have a plan. You can't just, hey, I'm going to go in and drive, but you don't have gas in your car. Hey, I'm going to go in and drive, you don't have your registration. Hey, I'm going to go in and drive, your tags have expired. Many of you don't think about that. You're like, Mama, Dad, I need gas. Your mom and dad will love you, but they're tired of you asking for money. That's where that responsibility piece comes in. The big 5, concentrate, get off your phone, stay focused. People will walk out, right? You are allowed to travel freely, but there's a responsibility. If you walk out in front of a car in the light screen, you're going to get ran over because some motorists won't stop. And then you ran over and then you're hit. And talk about a Tesla. They might not see you. And people of color, sometimes the computer might not stop. There's more on that later. I talked about AI and driving too, so I'll repost some of those videos next. Look while you're turning. A lot of beginning, if I'm going to the right, you should be looking to the right. If I'm going to the left, you should be coming up and turning your head and looking to the left. You don't do that. You are scared to look. Now, and I say you, I'm saying beginning drivers, giving you driving advice. So let's pretend you're driving. Relax. Take a breath. I should see you looking. Okay, I see a kid walking across the street. I'm going to wait. Make eye contact with people to let them know, hey, you can come, or you got to stop. I'm getting ready to go. Or a truck is behind me and I can't stop. So you got to make that eye contact. Next, look while turning, lane changing, and backing up. You have to look out your back window. I have a backup camera. So look out your back window. You're going to run over your little sister, or you're going to run over your brother. You gotta look around you. Many of you have never been in an area where there's a concert, a professional football game, a professional basketball game. There are hundreds and thousands of people who look left, look right, and they run across the street. And they don't care if you're there. What are you gonna do? Run over people? You can't do that. Okay, you gotta calm down and wait 3, 5, 7 minutes. And they might walk on your car or walk over you. I've seen people get trampled, and it's not good. Next, I want you to drive safe for the speed and conditions. If you're driving in a heavy downtown Detroit traffic, heavy downtown Detroit, Houston, heavy downtown Detroit, Los Angeles, California, heavy downtown Detroit, Chicago, cover your brake. Downtown New York, cover your brake. Manhattan, the mecca of it all. These areas are huge populations of people, right? And you always have to be prepared for those situations and improve your likelihood of not hitting a pedestrian, of being a defensive driver. Pedestrians will walk on a red, they'll walk on a green, they'll walk on a yellow. As soon as the walk sign comes on, they'll shoot across. Okay? So what I need to tell you is you got to be a defensive driver and really prepare for those situations. Next, have good following distance. A lot of drivers, a lot of beginning drivers drive very close, very close, very close, very close. Keep more room. I say have good speed. If the speed limit is 35, 30, 33, 34. If it's 40, 37, 38. If it's 50, 49, 48. If it's 70, 65, 68. You have to keep room to be aware of traffic on the left, traffic on the right, what's in front of you, and you better be checking your mirror behind you because you do not want to be rear-ended. Rear-end collisions are the most common. I talked about having lots of room. A lot of beginners don't look to the left. If we're making a right turn, let's pretend you're driving, I'm in a passenger seat, you're to the left of me, you'll just pull out in traffic. I got to see you look to the left. If I don't see you look to the left, I know we're going to get hit. I know my day and your day is going to be terrible. I know I'm going to have to call the police. Hey, we had a student get hit. Are you okay? Is the car? Got to call the police. So it's really important. You always have to think and be that defensive driver. You don't want to hit a pedestrian. You don't want to have an accident. What is it like having an accident? You got to file a police report. Okay, you're panicking. You're nervous. Your heart's beating. Someone could be bleeding. Now, an ambulance comes. Now, your car is not working anymore. You can't go to school now. You're going to lose your job. You're going to find out who your real friends are. Your real friends will say, oh, I got you. I can take you Thursday, and then John can take you Friday and next week. You're going to find out who your real, 100 points for for cyclists, sure. But in real life, cyclists, pedestrians are the most vulnerable road users. Cyclists need to ride with the flow of the traffic. Pedestrians, if there's no sidewalk, they walk against the flow of the traffic. So I understand your point. You've got to be that defensive driver. And these pop-up areas between 2 and 5, this is the most dangerous time that you guys are driving right now. Okay, I'll be done at 3:30. I'm leaving the lab. We're going to have hundreds and thousands of people walking, traveling, wanting to go home. You got to be that defensive driver. Next, don't scare your parents. I'm a state certified instructor. If you pull out in front of a car, I can hit that brake. I can turn that wheel side so we don't get hit head on. Your parents, oh my God, you're giving me a. That's what your mom is going to say. That's what your dad is going to say. I'll take that back on dads. Dads are more chilled, more relaxed. But you got to earn your trust. You got to earn your parents' trust. You got to earn your mom's trust. Me, because I'm trained and everyone's a little bit different, I try to take my time with my students. I try to understand you because when I understand you, I appreciate you because I want to help you obtain your license. Don't scare your driving instructor. How do you scare your driving instructor? You're parking and you just hit the gas instead of the brake. The car will hit the wall. You're pulling out in front of a car. You didn't look to the left. You don't stop, right turn on red. These are some of the common things that beginners do. So I'm trying to help you with that situation. What else does a beginner do? New drivers don't judge distance and speed really well. You're pulling out, traffic is moving at 50, you're at 25. You're pulling out, traffic is moving at 20, you're moving at 10. You're merging an expressway at 50, they're going 75. So you have to learn to match the speed. When you're on the acceleration ramp, you've got to push that gas down to the floor. When you're merging out in conventional traffic, 35, 45, 55, you have to take your time. Next tip. Beginning drivers need a lot of verbal instructions, okay? A lot of you say, wow, you really support your students. I do, because I need you to make a right turn at the next light. Okay, in your mind, I'm in the left lane, turn on my blinker. You can see the students going through the thought process, right? And then I tell them, I need you to look over your right shoulder. What do? You look over your left shoulder. And you're like, embarrassed. I'm like, it's okay, okay? And then you jerk the wheel. And then there's a car hiding in a blind spot. So I'm here to assist you. And the goal is, first drive, you need me the most. You need me about 90%. The second drive, 80%. The third drive, 70%. The fourth drive, 60%. You're starting to understand what I'm doing. My job is to assist you. And then your mom and dad have to take over. In many states, there's a graduated license. You need 30 hours in 3 months. If you're not getting an hour and a half per week, you're going to be 16, 17, 18, and not have your license. Your mom and dad have to make a commitment. And I've talked to a lot of parents. They don't want to drive you because you're rude, you're disrespectful, and they're like, I don't care. They can ride at home. So your parents are telling me this, and you're telling me, oh, when I get my license. You're not going to get your license because your mom and dad hate your guts because you're rude and disrespectful. So you need to learn to be humble and listen to them. I hear this all the time. I hear one side. Remember, I'm on your side. I'm like your uncle. I'm here to give you confidence, help you reach your goals, help you get a job. I just thought this is driving. This is bigger than you and I, okay? So you need verbal instructions. And then your mom and dad, they don't have the patience for you, right? And by me, I'm going to see you for 6 times. I'm going to learn about you for 6 weeks. And I want to give you my best and help you. So when I put together a video, you need to watch it all the way through. And if you really like it, you're going to subscribe to that video and you're going to know when the video comes out. Next, do not assume that you as a driver know hey, I need you to take 94. You're going to get on 375. You're going to get off at Bagley. You're like, what? I'm going to do what? I don't know where I'm going. I'm barely keeping my car straight. You don't know what you're doing. Hey, I want you to go to Cedar Point. Let's drive to Chicago. What? How do I do that? They'll go straight. But then your car's running out of gas. You don't know how to. So your parents need to be training you, educating you, giving you that support. Those things are crucially important. And if this brought you value, give it a thumbs up. I need you to look at all my content. And if you really like it, subscribe. I want to say thank you. I need you to drive safe. I will go live tonight, 7:30, 7:45. Bye, guys.